Let's turn to the AI craze. Alphabet, Microsoft, Meta, all mentioning the technology nearly 50 times on their earnings calls, while Amazon takes a step back, instead highlighting some of their retail efforts. But as Intel and Snap try and edge in as well, it's not paying off for everyone. Snap in particular trying to highlight its investments in the space, but that it would come at a major cost. Our next guest says that to build something to compete with OpenAI at this point would cost hundreds of millions of dollars. Can those smaller companies keep up? Joining us today, Eric Hippeau managing partner Eric Hippeau. It's great to have you back, Eric. You know, we called it a craze here at the top of the intro, and I wonder if it feels that way to you in the sense that, like most crazes, we overshoot on investment and then we have to have a shakeout.
Yeah, well, hi, Carl. Look, there is a craze and there is definitely a hype, but in many ways the hype is justified. Generative AI or conversational AI is by far the most significant innovation in technology in decades. Certainly since the mobile phone and going back to the PC, it might even be more impactful. It will impact pretty much every aspect of society, every aspect of the economy. So there's a lot to like about what's going on. However, it's way early. This is, you know, we're just at the very beginning of a long cycle of development, and in many ways, OpenAI and the other generative AI platforms are, you know, they're so new, they're very raw. There's a lot of things still to be fixed on them, and so you know, to invest tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars in the field right now feels a little early to determine who are going to be the winners and who are going to be the losers.
Right. Your point about the cost makes you think that, I mean, only the incumbents can afford and even get the supplies necessary. Is it just going to feed the giants more than ever?
Oh, for sure. The giants have a big advantage. First of all, they've been working on this now for years. And if you just look at their engineering and other resources, they can deploy resources like you know, which are, you know, hard to match. But the question is this going to become more of a commodity, right? You've got, you know, 6 to 8 big players who are developing or have developed generative platforms such as OpenAI. There's probably 2 or 3 more who are in the works. And eventually, it's all going to converge into something that's a little bit of a commodity. And the question then is, where is the value going to be created on top of these platforms? What kind of applications, what kind of services will you be able to build, big businesses built on that?
So in terms of funding new companies, Eric, where are you seeing the best opportunities, and have those valuations gone higher, seeing the reaction in the markets to the efforts over at Alphabet and Microsoft and the market cap appreciation those companies have seen directly because of AI?
Sure. It's kind of a little similar to what happened in crypto, where, you know, some of the best minds and some of the best engineering talent in tech, you know, flock to it. And that draws, because of the talent, the money goes behind them, and the valuations get high, and the amounts of money that are being raised are high. We believe that it's too early. Not only is it too early to determine the direction of you know, all of that AI stuff, but also we don't really know which are the features that are going to eventually end up being part of the infrastructure that might be funded today, and they will end up with nothing. A lot of that happened during the early mobile days, the early PC days, where promising companies drew a lot of investment, a lot of capital, but these features ended up being part of the main platforms, and at the end of the day, these companies were worth nothing.
All right. The Atlantic's got a great piece today where they basically argue, Eric, that, yeah, it's huge, but in their view, more people are playing with it right now than actually employing it, and that it might waste 1 billion hours before it saves us 1 billion hours. I don't know if that gives corporates full credit for the research that's going on. I don't know. Do you agree?
Yeah, you sure. There's people who are, you know, playing with it, but there's already applications that are working. Take customer support as an example. Cornell University just came out with a study where they interviewed 5,000 customer support people, and they determined that their productivity has already gone up by about 14%.
Wow.
And the reason for this is simple, is that the best customer service employees are really kind of training the newer employees or the people who have less skills, so that there's a level playing field that makes everybody more productive.
Yeah, on the list of occupations that are going to be displaced, telemarketing and post-secondary education are way up there. It's going to be fascinating to watch. Eric, it's great to have you back. Talk soon.